Good morning to you both. Well, for me, good morning, good afternoon for you both. It's a pleasure and joy to have you guys in this call, in this interview, following up the nice chapter that you both wrote on the RegTech book. So good morning again and welcome in this interview. We'll come to a short introduction of both of you in a few minutes. Now, you guys really made an incredible chapter in the book. And why? Because, well, you brought some new ideas to the industry, to the whole world, by coming with an agile framework around lawmaking, around around how a society should work, the Society 5.0. So I really like that. But would it be possible to give us a little bit more insight on what exactly is happening and how did you come to this and so on?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Japan. I'm Hiroki Habuka, a Deputy Director for Global Digital Governance of Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. It's maybe too long, but again, thank you very much for this great opportunity to give some insights of our side to your RegTech book. First of all, I'd like to explain a little bit introduction to our Agile governance framework. So considering the rapid change of digital technologies and also the diversified goals, which is not only economic growth, but also sustainability or human rights or inclusion. Now we live in an age where governance is extremely difficult because, you know, the governance is a mechanism to achieve some goals in a certain society. But these days, both goals and societies are moving very fast and got very complex. And governance has to bridge the two, society and the goals. And to achieve this purpose, we believe that it's impossible to keep our traditional model of governance, which is that very vertical and static model, where the government provides certain rules and other citizens just follow the rules. This model doesn't work anymore because everything is changing very fast, and the government only cannot provide specific rules to achieve certain goals. So instead, we decided to pursue more flexible multi-stakeholder approach, which we call agile governance. And in this context of agile governance, RegTech is one of the key component of this entire framework. And that's what we wrote in the introduction of our paper.
Cool. Please continue. Please continue. Super interesting.
And in the context of RegTech, you know, still a lot of when a lot of people hear about RegTech, people believe that it's a kind of technology that helps us to fulfill the duties under the existing regulation. So RegTech sounds like always follow the current existing regulation. But what we suggest is actually it's not only that. So there should be the other way, which means that RegTech makes the rules. I mean, if the company explains with full accountability that if they use this kind of new technology, maybe we can achieve the same goals or maybe better outcomes about the regulatory goals rather than the traditional way of typically the monitoring by human or supervision by all the systems. So if the companies can prove that their system can achieve better goals of regulation, then why not changing the regulation? That is our framework. So it's, I mean, in other words, RegTech has the power to change the existing regulation, not only just help us to comply with the traditional old-fashioned regulation.
Wow, it sounds really flabbergasting. It makes me very happy as a RegTech enthusiast. I hear this is a theory, and this is something ongoing. There's a very nice white paper about it for the readers. You can find it in the back of the book, a link to the white paper. So I really suggest you all to read that as well. But Mr. Kito, how does that really apply in real world as being part of the FinTech Association of Japan? Where do you feel you stand today, and what is happening on the level of RegTech within Japan?
Right. Hello, everyone. I'm Takeshi Kito, and I'm Vice Chairman of FinTech Association of Japan. And also I'm leading RegTech and SubTech subcommittee association. And also I'm working for the government of Japan's regulatory sandbox. Yeah.
And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And actually, financial industry and FinTech industry is facing quite rapid change. And recently we found that we have to collaborate with regulators and other stakeholders in the ecosystem. And this is what needed to implement our solutions and the society. So that's why I am working for the regulatory sandbox and also working with Habuka-san and the Ministry of Economy for this kind of agile governance initiative. And actually, RegTech industry is quite international. And we have to have more collaboration with international organizations, such as FinTech Association in other countries, and also some kind of government bodies in other countries.
So what you're saying is that it's also a theme that really comes back throughout the whole book. It's all about collaboration, right? And we need to take that to a next level. And the only way we can take that to a next level is to talk together and to collaborate together. It's not just a thing of theory, it's just something you need to do in practice. So no, I think that was a message loud and clear. So for all the RegTech associations that are listening to this interview, I would say get in contact with Mr. Kito, because you guys want to collaborate too, right?
Yeah, why not?
And are there a lot of RegTech companies already that are live and kicking in Japan?
Yes, we have some RegTech companies in Japan, and they are trying to go international. And yeah, they are looking for opportunities to collaborate with other RegTech companies and regulators in other countries.
That's also often. Sorry.
If you want to collaborate with Japanese RegTech ecosystem and these FinTech, the RegTech companies.
That collaboration, that's something that you definitely feel with other RegTech companies as well. And I think where Mr. Hiroki already mentioned that that the society has changed, but so did RegTech also, because you now see that companies are more easily selling their products or doing business across the border, because a bank or a receiving or a vendor or whatever who's using the RegTech tools now also start buying off video calls. Like we're having an interview online. Now people are also selling through online discussions, which is a great thing. And that's something that you see also changing the landscape. If I may ask, what is the relationship between the two of you? Because I was just wondering, it's always nice to have more than one author. So how do you guys go together, and what brought you together?
Yes, of course. As I said, I'm a government official, and I'm originally a lawyer. And our team in the government are organized a study group or expert group on so-called governance innovation, which proposed the agile governance I just briefly introduced in the beginning of this presentation. And Mr. Kito is one of our experts as a FinTech leader and also RegTech leader. And we've been working for more than 2.5 years on this agenda. I mean, how to change the governance framework of the society in the whole, and also how technology can support governance. and which is our unique point, because usually people think about how to govern technologies, but we don't think much about how technologies can change governance, and our discussion really focused on that aspect.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mr. Kito? Do you agree with the way you actually met?
Yes, and this is quite a great opportunity for me and for the association from the perspective of the ecosystem and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, as Habuka-san mentioned, it's been more than 2 years, and this committee is still going on. So hopefully we can achieve more in the coming years.
Yeah, and our team has not only lawyers or like a fintech expert like Mr. Kito, but also professionals of system design or AI engineering or economists or from audit companies, people from audit companies. Yeah, we have a great bunch of different diversity of professionals, because governance is not only about law, but we have to think about all different disciplines to achieve better goals in this complex society.
Actually, I had an interview with Richard, also part of the book, and he writes about the situation in London, in the UK, and there they're using a product design framework in order to come to new products and things together. Is that something the same? Are you also using design thinking to come there, or is there any particular methodology that you use as a team, as a group?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, our agile governance framework is directly a product of the system design thinking. So the framework is introduced in our paper, but actually that framework is derived from the system design of open system dependability. So in the system design sphere, there is kind of a framework about how to manage risks of systems where not governed by a single party, but governed by a lot of different stakeholders, which makes the system itself is so unpredictable and uncertain. And we have a certain framework about the governing that kind of complex systems. And our agile governance framework is, got the idea of that complex system design and applied it to the governance sphere. Because we believe that system design and governance design is almost the same, especially in this digitalized age where everything is connected digital. So whenever we think about governance, we always have to think about how the system is working.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also am saying similar things for a while already, a couple of years, to be honest, actually before COVID started. It looks for me that we're in a society where we are applying some of the blockchain rules and that not so much the technical side of it, but the idea of having distributed trust. It is no more possible to have the reliability and responsibility on one single party, because there's more people involved and we all need to take responsibility in moving forward as a society. So that was also some reason why I really liked reading your white paper, because it was putting this on paper what I was already thinking for a while. And now I saw this like, a regulatory body with a large group of players putting this together and bringing this into action. So extremely excited about that. Maybe just a few last questions, if I may, more about RegTech, and going back to you, Mr. Kito. I'm going to give you 4 words, and maybe you can rank them in importance for you. So we have innovation, collaboration, regulation, and user experience. What would be the right order in terms of priority? Your personal view, there's no harm done.
Okay, first one is user experience. Definitely. because yes, solution is for users, and our FinTech Association's vision is implement solutions for all users in the ecosystem. So that's the reason why I choose user experience as a first.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense. I was thinking you would probably would have gone for collaboration, but I think you did a smart answer by giving user experience, and I agree with that also. At the end, it's all about the end user, and it's all about human, which are in a society, which actually are benefiting as a company from the tooling that RegTech can bring. No, actually, excellent. Maybe one more last question. If somebody wants to contact you, for what reason should they contact you, Mr. Kito? Maybe I'll stay with you for just this one, and then we'll go to Mr. Hiroki after that. Why should people contact you?
To find opportunities to collaborate with Japanese ecosystem, FinTech and RegTech ecosystem, and yes, to change the world better and to provide better user experience.
Very good. What about you, Mr. Hiroki?
Of course, I mean, I know a lot of good restaurants and beautiful places to go. So forever, who is interested in Japan, you can just contact me. But just kidding. Yeah, I mean, for me, everybody is welcome as long as you have the interest in changing the governance mechanisms. And here, governance means a very broad meaning. It's not only about regulation, or it's not about technology. It also contains, it includes market mechanism or democracy system, or maybe building social trust, etc. Yeah, so I mean, anything which is related to tools or mechanisms to make our society better, I'm always happy to talk about it. And one thing to add is, I totally agree with Mr. Kito. He addressed the importance of user experience. And in our paper, we discussed the goals of governance, and we conclude that the ultimate goal is happiness and liberty of human beings, and others just tools to achieve them. So in that context, of course, digital technology is one of the tools, but also actually the government or companies, they are also just tools to achieve the better happinesses in society. And just like tools, the government or companies are a kind of a fiction which we made to make our society better. So based on this understanding, we can be more flexible about the role of businesses, the role of the government, especially because now everything is so quickly changing, and to achieve better goals such as happiness or liberty or human rights, we always need to undergo better collaboration. And that's why I said everybody is welcome, especially who is interested in Japanese culture.
Excellent, brilliant. So I hope one day I can contact you both indeed to ask for where is a good restaurant, because that would mean that I'm back in Japan and could have a drink with both of you. That's really on my wish list, on my bucket list. But apart from that, I thank you both so much for your collaboration in the book, for your contribution in the book. And I also wish you all the best with the journey that you're going through as a society. So I'm sure after the book and after the interview, many people will actually follow you to see how that is going. And I hope you keep us up to date. So thank you very much for that again. Also, thank you very much to everyone that tuned in into this interview. As you know, there's more interviews. There's interviews with all the authors of the book, and that can be found in the channel that you're listening to. So please feel free to get some more inspiration by also listening into some others' interviews, and don't hesitate to like us and follow us. So thank you very much. And yeah, we see each other soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Very much.